Aww. Aww. Oh, it's too cute. The amount of cute in these new episodes is just, my cold beating heart. Hello, cartoon fanatics. RJ here, and welcome back to another Cartoon Corner covering Star versus the Forces of Evil. And we've got so much adorableness this week. So much cuteness. Oh, it was so adorable. Okay, I gotta compose myself now so I can actually talk about this. Have we reached the mid-season point? I think we've reached the mid-season point. This very much felt like the mid-season section for the fourth season, which is amazing that we're already this far in. But it was a good point. It felt like you could almost kind of wrap things up in a nice little bow here, but that's not going to happen, which is fine because I don't think I was ready to let Star end completely today. So I'm glad that there's still a lot more on the way before it completely ends. Starting with the whole Dragon Cycle episode with Marco and Tom and Kelly and Hekapoo and the other Dragon Cycle guys. I can't remember the Eagle guy's name, but that was a fun episode. I wasn't able to see most of it yet, but I got glimpses and pieces of it as I was putting all of this together. And we see some nice bonding with Marco and Tom, and we find out that Marco and Kelly aren't breakup buddies anymore, which is kind of weird to think about. And Marco seems totally cool with it, which means his relationship with Kelly wasn't really that intense. And meanwhile, Kelly's just kind of like, boy, this is my life. My breakup buddy broke up with me. This is kind of pathetic. But it seems like overall they're both pretty cool about it, which again, this questions Marco's shipping status, so to speak. So, once again, it's up in the air. It's anyone's guess as to exactly what's going to go on, but the Dragon Cycle episode was fun overall. And then we get into the extreme cuteness episodes. We finally get to see Eclipse and Globgor interact. We predicted that this episode was going to be a flashback, but it turns out it's actually Eclipse communicating into Globgor's mind. She's got a spell where she's able to do that. And that's nice. It kind of explains why she's been okay with having him crystallized still. I mean, she hasn't been completely okay with it, but she's been more sort of accepting about it than I expected her to be when all of this kind of went down. And it's because she's able to have like little mind dates with him, and they talk about potentially letting him out. Eclipse still really wants to let him out, and there's still this problem of, well, would the people really accept him? And it's interesting to see that they both kind of come to the conclusion that if Muni's not ready, then they don't want to let Globgor out, because that would just cause more grief and pain. And from what we see of Globgor, he's very much like Eclipse, and he's focused completely on his family. He's not so much worried about the kingdom in terms of what they're going through. He's more concerned about their views on his family and what they would do to his family, and he just wants to have his family together and safe. So it was nice to see that. We kind of suspected that was the role that Globgor was kind of fit into, because he had been amped up as like this huge big bad guy, and at least I kind of suspected that he would be more of this family man, similar to Eclipse, where he'd do anything to protect his family, and if that meant pretending to be evil, then he would do that, no questions asked. But it's nice to see that they don't want to release him until they're absolutely sure that the kingdom can handle it. Of course, Star isn't too happy because Eclipse has smuggled Star's Corner spell book piece out to put the spell book back together to see a spell to free Globgor. And I thought it was going to be like a big conflict between them where Eclipse would get mad at Star for hiding the book of spells. But it turned out to be the opposite, where Star gets mad at Eclipse because Eclipse knew the whole time and did what she normally does anyway without telling Star. So the conflict there wasn't as intense as I thought it would be, and it resolves itself pretty quickly with Star going, look, if you think that people aren't accepting of you because they haven't given you a coronation and stuff, we're going to do it. We're going to make you feel like that they're accepting you as queen, so you can stop sneaking around and trying to do what you want, so to speak. And of course that leads into the 2-part coronation episode. This segment was so adorable. I can't get over how cute Coronation was. First of all the outfit designs for the characters in all of these episodes are so on point, and I love each and every one of them. That's kind of beside the point of the episode itself. That's just my own animation cartoon designing self kind of geeking out. It's like, oh, their outfits are so cute, I can't get over it. But on top of that, Globgor does get free in the middle of Eclipse's coronation, and as we kind of expected again before, he's lashing out, but only because he's afraid that Muni's going to try and attack Eclipse and Meteora. So he goes off. He actually tries to run away from the Magic High Commission to avoid conflict. And Star goes after him to kind of get to the root of the issue. And like I discussed before, Globgor is more concerned about protecting his family and not so much about destroying Muni or anything at this point. So Star decides, well, let's bring him back and see what the people of Muni think. Because at this point, they've gotten to know Eclipse to some extent, and some of them are accepting of her and some of them aren't. So, it's worth a shot to see if they'd be accepting of Globgor as well at this point. But while Star's off doing that little quest, we get this really funny side segment of Marco and Tom distracting the crowd by doing a love sentence song. It's kind of a throwback to season 2 there. That was awesome. But then Star brings Globgor back, and it all goes down, and we get that's where the cuteness comes in with Meteora, and they hug, and you see they're a sweet little family that just wants to be together and be safe. And we discover that Romulus was the one that freed Globgor from the crystals to prove a point that he was dangerous, which, I knew Romulus wasn't that sharp, but boy, he really isn't that sharp in this. He's completely going off of his bias and nothing else with his decisions, which is kind of infuriating. Even the rest of the Magic High Commission is like, what is wrong with you, man? Take it down a notch, really. And it all ends with Eclipse's family being accepted, and they all hug, and it's adorable, and then we get like this last half-second shot of Mina's bird flying overhead and seeing the scene, so we know that Mina knows that this has gone down. So overall, these were absolutely adorable. But what does this mean in the long run, especially considering all of the build-up that Star Versus is doing this season? Well, first of all, at this point, we know that the people we consider that could have been the bad guys are not the bad guys at all. At the moment, it seems like the biggest threats are Mina, of course, and Romulus to a certain extent, because they're both very set in their ways of the way that Muni used to be. And at this point, even Moon is going like, I'm not the queen anymore. It doesn't matter what I think. And, they're kind of moving out of their monarchy, and things are changing big time. And of course, some are going to be uncomfortable with that, and Mina and Romulus's case, they're not okay with that at all. But at the same time, these two are not the smartest characters we've seen in the show. And yes, they're both very powerful, and they can both do some pretty nasty things if they're left unchecked. But at the same time, even with all of this planning and this bias, I don't think either one of them is completely capable of doing this by themselves, or even if they ended up working together. It's almost as if there's something in the background, whispering in their ears, encouraging them to make these choices in order to enforce their viewpoints and opinions. There's just got to be more to this. That's what I'm settling on. There's got to be more than what we're seeing right now. There's got to be something more cunning, hiding, and just using these characters as tools for the ultimate end goal, which I don't know what that is, but it just doesn't make sense if it's just Mina and Romulus doing this by their own volition and having no support, because like I said before, they just don't seem mentally capable of being cunning enough to handle it. There's got to be more to it. Yes, they have the potential, but something has got to be giving them this push to crack like this. I just don't know what it is, but I got a feeling there's something there. So if you like this video, make sure to put a thumbs up and press that like button. Comment below on sort of your opinions on exactly where this is all leading to. Do you think Romulus is turning into kind of a big bad guy? Do you think that Mina is still the main threat? Are they going to end up working together? Or do you think, like me, in that there's something in the background hiding and whispering and encouraging them to do this stuff? Because at that point, that's just what I'm leaning towards. Also, how cute are Eclipse and Globgor? They're adorable. You know, I'm not normally one to melt at romantic cartoon couples anymore, but for some reason these two really got to me. They were just crazy cute. Just a little note for next week. I'm going away on a retreat and I won't be able to take electronics with me. It's kind of like a no Wi-Fi sort of retreat. I should be back in the middle of the day when the Star Versus episodes will air next Sunday, but I don't know if I'll have time to put together a cartoon corner that week. I'm just kind of giving a heads up now in case it ends up coming out late. You know why. It's because I'll be in the middle of nowhere for most of that day. But just watch it. Next week, something really heavy will go down, and I'll be stuck in the wilderness, and then I'll come back and meet insanity. I just know it. Something will go down while I'm gone. Or maybe not. Maybe it'll just be fun and cute and it'll be lighthearted episodes that I can relax and review when I get back. I don't know, but I hope to see you all next time.